More than 25 years, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg served on the High Court. Her passionate dissents ranging from women's rights to employment discrimination. To break down some of Ginsburg's lasting accomplishments, I'm joined by ABC News chief legal analyst Dan Abrams, Republican strategist Sarah Fagan, and ABC's senior national correspondent Terry Moran. And Terry, we're going to start with you. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an absolute giant. How will she be remembered?
As a towering figure in American law, there's no question about it. You know, you call her a giant. The word that occurs to me, there was this wonderful contradiction about her. She was diminutive. She looked like she'd blow away in a big wind, but strength, a brilliant, formidable legal intellect, and a force of character that helped her change American society through the law. She saw the problems in the law, ridiculous discrimination, barriers of discrimination against women and men. She said they made no sense, and she developed a strategy to knock them down. And then when she got on the Supreme Court, she took that same long strategic view and a broad view of equality and liberty, and in the early years was able to join opinions and advance that cause in the leadership position as well. In the later years, in fierce dissents, she's calling out to the future, saying this is not the way the conservatives are going. So her legacy is phenomenal. It is something that helped to change America.
Sarah, this stands to be a fierce political fight. Lisa Murkowski has already said she will not vote for a Supreme Court nominee until after the inauguration. How much pressure does this put on other Republican senators, either moderates or those in tough re-election fights, to not vote to a nominee before January?
Well, I certainly think this is going to be a debate that plays out over the next week. I don't expect, though, that this vote won't go forward. I think, you know, many people believe strongly that one of the biggest reasons Donald Trump was elected in 2016 was because he was so forward-leaning on the courts. It's where the base of the Republican Party thinks the most important issues lie. And so I don't think many of these Republican senators will agree with Lisa Murkowski. There will be some. There will be pressure in states like Colorado and certainly Maine with Susan Collins, who's battling a tough race because of her vote for Brett Kavanaugh, at least in part because of her vote for Brett Kavanaugh. So I think it'll be a discussion, but I think ultimately Leader McConnell came out very early tonight and said this vote will go forward. It will go forward before the election, and so I suspect it will.
And Dan, RBG's death clearly tips the balance on the court if she's replaced by a conservative. So is Roe v. Wade under threat of being overturned?
Oh, absolutely. This is a fundamentally different kind of appointment than the other two that Donald Trump has had thus far, where you're replacing Scalia and even Kennedy. With maybe you get a little more conservative with Kavanaugh than with Kennedy, but you're still in the same ballpark. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg is replaced by any of the people that Donald Trump has announced that he is considering, you're talking about a sea change on the court. Yes, it is likely that Roe versus Wade would get overturned, but you're also talking about issues regarding voting rights and immigration, health care, et cetera. And so I think you're going to see a real change on a lot of the 5-4 opinions. The fundamental question will be, how much does the court care about the fact that they've already or recently ruled on a lot of those issues?
And Terry, a final thought from you. Mitch McConnell was singing a very different song about 5 years ago when President Obama was had the chance to appoint someone to the court. And what kind of world will we wake up to tomorrow now that this giant has passed?
Well, there's no question Mitch McConnell said one thing. He's going to do something else this year. It's power. It's power that counts. I mean, the elections have consequences. The Republicans are in the presidency and the Senate. The Constitution says that's who gets to choose justices of the Supreme Court. I expect this vote to go forward as well. But as that Supreme Court changes, as it will if President Trump succeeds, the swing vote is likely to be Brett Kavanaugh, if you can imagine that. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's legacy will be something they will all have to reckon with because she changed the country that they will preside over.
Terry, Dan, Sarah, thank you all so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.